league, but at least in terms of the faces we have in the match here today, we will be looking at them, of course, as they will be starting relatively soon here. Just a few players starting to ready up here, but we will move on to another map before that will happen, I believe. But everyone is almost pretty much ready here, and we will be just about to get underway here. So we will have again Zycos from Team Numalot, so a Flyer from Elementaries, MiQuatro, who appears to be solo at the moment, but was at least previously representing Elite or Fury, as you guys may remember them. And also we have Cap, who also seems to be a solo player, previously representing teams like Gamers Origins, of course. So again, all very, very storied players, and all very, all veterans, I would say, especially the likes of Flyer, MiQuatro, and Zycos. Almost feel like they've been around forever in Trackmania terms, but it's nice to see that these guys are all interested in competing at the highest level. They've all clearly prepared well to get to this point, but it looks as if we are just about to get ready to go underway. Just once everyone is ready, as I said. But I understood Flyer did take a little bit of a break from most competitions coming back, and it's nice to see him, of course, getting back involved in online team tournaments, helping propel Elementaries to some really top results, of course. So very nice to see that we have a good mix of people that have been active all throughout this time, and people who have maybe kind of dropped in and out here and there. But as I said, we should just be about ready to go, and we will be starting off here as we then move into our first map. Again, this will still be to 100 points here. It will be our loser bracket semi-finals, I believe, if I'm correct. I do apologise if I'm wrong. But we start off with Krompolc, Rise Up, Siphon Blur, Weird Flex, and we will finish off with Cascade. But will I pick your brains while we wait for Eirik to come back? Would you say...
I'm back.
Oh, he's back now. They're just on time. Kappa, would you say Cascade being last, with that causing players so many issues, do you think some people might look at that just with a kind of sigh of relief that they probably won't have to play it?
Well, yeah, it's it's the last in the map ordered, but that doesn't mean it won't be played. You know, if the match is close enough, we can still see Cascade, and then it would be very decisive. So I really don't see into those players' heads. Most of them I don't know personally too well, but I think all the players are really practiced on all of the tracks, and I personally think that Cascade is probably the easiest track of the map of the pack. Well, except the ending there, but other than that, the track is very basic in my opinion. So there's nothing to be worried about, in my opinion.
For sure. And I mean, Eirik, well, I finally bring you out from the kind of dark there, so to speak, but going into this map, instead of just kind of the normal stat check going into this, as I understand you said it doesn't cover all the players which we do have remaining. One thing to mention, I believe Cappuccino is the only player who's had a really deep run at an offline event. If I remember correctly, it was last 6 or so, or maybe even last 4 of Giants Cup. Do you think the kind of experience of reaching really deep in tournaments will really pay it forward for him in this event?
Well, Cappuccino plays 4th at the event you're bringing up, Giant Cup 2018. But if you look back at the previous event, that was LES. He dropped down to the amateur bracket and eventually won the amateur tournament, but it wasn't a strong performance. But it's nice to see him here after being the so-called 17th player for Trackmania Grand League, so he didn't play that. But yeah, here we are. Hopefully, he won his match previously, so maybe he's going to win this as well.
Yeah, for sure. Flyer also the winner of his match previously. MiQuatro again dropping down from the upper bracket. I don't believe he's played any winner bracket or loser bracket matches before this, but I may be wrong. But now we're actually seeing Krompolc for the first time, and we're seeing a double kill going through, which is a very tricky section going through that middle part with MiQuatro and Kappa. Oh, having a lot of issues going through there, and I suppose now is talking up the loser bracket, and the first round is fraught with calamity here as everyone makes quite massive mistakes there, as we have Cappuccino now being the one to take what must be said as an easy 10 points here, and with a 105.58 here, and it feels a bit weird that this is our first time seeing this map when we've already seen 2 so far. But I mean, looking at Krompolc, we did see that the players have a lot of issues with the section in the middle. Would you say, Cap, overall it's a bit of a difficult map, or is this just kind of what you expect from it?
This is probably the most technical, so to speak, track. in my opinion, like some of the turns are a bit unusual. Also, the mid section where with that freewheeling part is probably the decider. Like, but I think it's in all map requirements. Like there has to be a deciding part, and that's exactly fitting it. So it's a very good track, but yeah, probably one of the most difficult ones of this map pack. So I'm not surprised to see a lot of mistakes, especially at this part.
Yeah, for sure. And we see Flyer getting absolutely demolished by that, and also MiQuatro losing a quite big bit of speed here. And we see Zycos does have quite a big lead here, but not a lot of speed going over that section. MiQuatro also trying to catch up to Cap here. And he's in third place here at the moment, but third place only nets you 4. If he gets second, he'll get a 2-point boost here. Gets a much better exit, and Cap actually makes a mistake. He'll have to go for a safe finish. Zycos with a beautiful time there, a 105.33, and Cap just manages to hold on to third place for Flyer, having made a bigger mistake there. But I mean, even though it's a loser bracket, that's still a hell of a time from Zycos. I mean, I suppose it's a little bit hard to judge now because we don't actually have the, the winner bracket times to compare with, since we didn't actually see that map being played earlier on, but we will at least see it next match, so not to worry. But I mean, starting off really strongly, at least as well, actually starting off with mistakes, has been pretty much every player so far. Flyer having a poor start, finding himself on only 7 points, but definitely in prime position here to be doubling his point score here at the very least with our first position. Moving up to 17 here. MiQuatro the only one slightly trailing behind this group here. Very nice downhill there from all the players coming into this long right-hander. You need to snap very quickly down to the left and very accurately, or else you can find yourself having a nightmare and getting completely killed. MiQuatro also bringing himself back into the fight here. Got a very good section going through there, but coming through this jump, Zycos is still the one with the advantage, and Kappa actually made a connection with that black pillar there. Zycos once again in lead, but Flyer is now being chased down by MiQuatro here, but it looks like Flyer's kept his head cool. But will MiQuatro manage to take it? He does, just by 1.5 hundredths of a second there. MiQuatro snipes Flyer there. And Flyer will definitely be feeling a bit hard done by, but Zycos is certainly setting a hell of a pace to start off with. But, I mean, Kappa, would you say point 3 and point 4 being at least a bit practiced before you stop playing, would you say that that's times you'd be expecting of this kind of level, or are you surprised by Zycos' performance so far?
I was just about to say that. I think point 3 is a very competitive time for a match. So that's a very well-deserved 10-pointer for Zycos, once again. Even though I can really see players putting some point 2s in the winner bracket matches. But yeah, as you said, sadly, we haven't witnessed this track in a live match in a winner bracket yet. But yeah, what Zycos performing right now is not far from what we could see there.
For sure. And I suppose Zycos has always been kind of pioneered with the risky style of first or last, exactly Razor's telling me there in the chat, which I do agree with there. And you're seeing it paying off here as once again he's up in first place, gets a bit of an awkward jump there, and that's going to allow Flyer with a much better landing to perhaps catch up here. But Zycos with a beautiful inside line there, manages to risk it and hold on to his advantage. This is once again going to be another smashing 10-pointer for Zycos. It looks like it, as Flyer's just going to miss out, and a 2-5 being driven by Zycos, and it just gets better and better.
This is the beauty of loser bracket, because sometimes the players find the best inside of themselves, when it matters. Like, it's do or die basically in loser bracket, and it forces some players to play above their limits, So it's so cool to see such times being set in the loser bracket.
And it just shows how well these kind of players are prepared, and how well they're coping with the circumstances, of course. As I said, loser bracket doesn't necessarily mean that they're a much lower quality of player. It could have just meant they got maybe a shitty deal of cards that day or something like that. But nevertheless, Zycos putting in a hell of a performance here on Krompolc, definitely matching up with some of the best players here. And Cap makes a really kind of simple mistake there, having some issues maybe keeping up the pace of Zycos, but he makes a little mistake there, does the Dutchman. However, MiQuatro also makes a mistake in the very crucial section. You use a lot of time going through there as a result of course, making a mistake over the freewheeling section. That really compromises your ability to gain speed. But once again, we have a Zycos and Flyer battle going through here. And both of the players are flying through this section, both on great times here. Going through a low 105s here, pardon me. But Zycos tries to go for that extra bit of speed, but has to release. And that will mean Flyer will finally get himself a 10-pointer. He was almost pulling off an Omnipots there, getting some great times, but always getting sniped up at the top. But Welly has to settle for second place. That's a hell of a map win for Zycos. But bring yourself into that, Eirik. Well, I understand you don't have as much stats in terms of the players we do actually have on track at the moment. How would the times compare to what we were seeing from the top players throughout that map?
Well, the best time, if I was correct and remember correct, was 0.25 by Zycos, and that is faster than both Colt Jr., that's faster than both Danik B, that's faster than Novice. The only guy who has been faster, as I have witnessed, is Pack and Twin with 0.12 from both of them. So Zycos is really fast here, and it's not like it's just the loser bracket and level will be lower. In fact, Zycos is maybe making a case that he could have been in the winner bracket semifinals.
Oh, for sure, he's definitely looking really strong at the very least. And also, one of your players coming down from the upper bracket, which we were mentioning as a favourite, MiQuatro, down on 24 points, finding himself in last place here at the moment. I mean, again, not that I would take him much more as a player to be much more bothered by momentum, but Kappa, going into this feeling when you are potentially a favourite, albeit such a close field, can that give you the kind of extra pressure going into a match like this, knowing that you kind of should go through it, so to speak?
Well, I don't think this match had a favorite, and it still doesn't have, and I don't think MiQuatro thought something else. You know, like it's a very even match, and I don't think MiQuatro feels like a favorite. So yeah. Regarding that, he doesn't feel any extra pressure. You know?
For sure. But I mean, again, we saw some really strong times here on this map being driven in the winner bracket matches of high 103s and low 104s. I certainly don't expect that to be any different from this match as we move into round one here on Rise Up by MD Point. Of course, we move in with Zycos on 39 points here at the moment, already 12 ahead of Flyer and 14 ahead of Cappuccino, which is the golden position of being, of course, in the top two is most important here, as now we're in the loser bracket. If you get top two, you will survive further. If you get bottom two, you will be eliminated and you will be out. However, MiQuatro here at the top in this round so far. He's had enough of sitting in the bottom of the scoreboard, perhaps. And he is in the lead here, albeit a very, very tight match here with 1/10, or actually now 2/10 separating all players. Cappuccino does not manage to recover there, and Zycos makes a mistake. Now it's just going to be between MiQuatro and Flyer, going through this long left-hander. MiQuatro just avoids clipping with the wall there, and Flyer trying to risk it. Does get a little bit of airtime, so that's perhaps going to kill his hopes of overtaking MiQuatro here. Just hoping for a mistake as Cap makes another mistake, but MiQuatro just looking for an easy finish here. Should know he has a little bit of a gap there, but still a very good time there. A 103.9 being driven by MiQuatro, matching up with some of the good times that were being driven in the upper bracket once again. But that is 10 points, and that definitely shakes up the scoreboard here as he now switches positions up to second here, moving Flyer down to third and Cap down to fourth. So great job there so far from MiQuatro, and this is the map where he needs to recover well here. Had some issues in map number 1, so if he can recover well in map number 2, it's definitely going to be possible to do very well in this match and potentially move forward. Let's see here. Flyer starting off strongly in this round. Finds himself a little bit wider there. Does get airtime. You can see how Zycos does extend a little bit of a lead here, and also MiQuatro comes into this fight here. Let's see. So Zycos very strong through this start, goes a little bit wide through there. That will compromise his speed a little bit. Looking good here. Cap still at the bottom of the the standing here so far, and Zycos with a strong lead here. Flyer and MiQuatro are off to great rounds themselves and having a very close battle coming through, but Flyer manages to extend his lead, and Zycos a little bit coming through this ending. He's going for it, risks the ram on the outside, and he's going to maybe try and dive down, but it's just not going to be enough as Zycos takes round number 2 with again his own 103.9 and a 10 points regain for him, recovering very well from his poor performance on the first round, making the mistake, and Flyer moves back into the safe zone. But such a close match for second here. Zycos needs to be careful though that he doesn't start maybe getting a bit too overconfident here, as that can just be as dangerous. As, I mean, do you feel, Kappa, when you're getting a bit, when you're starting winning rounds and getting a good bit of momentum, that it can also sometimes cause a little bit of disadvantage, getting a little bit too overconfident perhaps?
Well, that's something you really have to work on. I used to be like that. For example, we've spoken about Gamers Assembly 2016. I was winning every single match, was well ahead in the final, and then I already thought it was over, you know, and we all know what happened there. So, yeah, you really can't let those thoughts inside of your head, and if it does, you're basically fucked, you know.
Yeah. But speaking of being fucked, Cap's fucked in this round as he finds himself over a second behind there, making another mistake there, which is showing to be a bit of a trend here for Cap in this match. But look at this ending, 3 players toe-to-toe here, going into the final turn. Who's going to risk it more? Zycos tries. He tries with all his might, but he's not going to be successful. Yeah, and that's a 0-pointer there for Zycos as he does flip onto his roof there. MiQuatro takes another 10 there, just sniping Flyer at the ending there, and that's going to be perhaps again maybe something we were talking about there. Did perform very well in the first few rounds in the first map, but now as a result of that 0-pointer, instead of being more than 10 points in the lead, he's only 4 points in the lead. But I guess that's maybe what we were talking about. He's either going to be first or he's going to be last as Zycos. Question is whether he can keep his keep his cool here, or if there's going to be some headsets flying, which I know you know only a bit too much about, Kappa. But the headset is at least staying on for now, as he does still find himself in fighting for first place here, with Flyer now the one to make a mistake. He's normally kept his rounds pretty clean as Flyer, but now is at least going to be the exception. And MiQuatro now the one to be fighting with Zycos up here in the lead and taking a lot of speed as MiQuatro survives with the outside wall here, and Cappuccino on a good round this time has survived so far. Oh, Zycos makes another mistake there, trying to risk for the 10-pointer there, but he does not survive, and MiQuatro does stay in the 10-point range now. Cap looking for some good points despite not being on the fastest round. MiQuatro with a very scary jump up there at the top does however survive and will take another 10-pointer, and this has been a very good map for the Finnish player.
I mean, low point force is really good actually, so it's a high level on this map as well.
Well, if I remember correctly, in the winner bracket matches we casted previously, 104 wouldn't be enough for a round win in a single round. So, yeah, here it is enough, but yeah, but they are just doing what is needed, of course, and but it wouldn't be enough in the winner bracket. That's what should be remembered.
Yeah, and that's also a very good point here, because while we've seen Zycos was managing sometimes in the first map, which would have been at the kind of winner bracket level, that's also indicating that these players might struggle on this map when going against some of their top opposition, which are waiting in the next round of the winner bracket even. But MiQuatro once again in the lead. Again, an important point, even if he's not matching up to the pace. We saw Carl, at the very least in his winner bracket match, might not have the strongest pace in the world, but he was continually there to put pressure on the opponents because they know he's going to be close behind them. MiQuatro's could do the same here if he manages to transcend from this match, but at the very least he's looking very good in this round here. Both him and Zycos on good times, but MiQuatro just has an advantage going into this final turn. Zycos once again trying to risk it. Is he going to get through? He will, but once again MiQuatro takes 10 points, and he must have heard you, Kappa, I think.
Yeah, that's much better. 0.8 is a very competitive time, even in the winner bracket, and MiQuatro is really shining through this track, and he's fulfilling my expectations from him.
Yeah, I mean, showing why he won the backpack award and for the original From Zero to Hero tournament. No thanks to myself, shall I say. But having finished, or having got past our halfway point, the players have already got past 50 points. 2 maps have already been played. 68 for MiQuatro, 62 for Zycos, 52 from Flyer, and 42 for Pack. Any surprises so far, would you say?
Eirik?
No, it's a close match, and I had
Well,
expected Cap to do well, or better.
it's not too surprising because I kind of expected Cap not to be too much prepared. He seems to not care about Trackmania that much as he used to. Yeah, but MiQuatro first, Zycos is struggling a little bit recently, but it's still very open for everyone. I think Cup is not gonna play a big role in the rest of the match, but it's very difficult to choose from those top 3 players.
And what kind of times do you think we can expect on Siphon Blur going by some of the other top times here, Eirik?
What do you say?
What times do you think we could expect based upon what times some other of the top players were getting in Siphon Blur?
Well, it's like a really low 02 here. Carl Jr. has, or Novice has like 102.02, so a low 02.
Yeah.
Do you actually have evidence of the best match time we've seen, or that has been set?
If you go into the bracket and hit stats, it will tell you the best match time throughout any sort of match which has been played, and it's updated live. So definitely, guys, if you want more information, even if you want individual players information, you can go into the players section of the, when you type in ! bracket, and it will actually show you their individual best times and worst times. It will show you also their averages, which I think will be very interesting to dive into when we're getting ready for our winner bracket match here. But with Zycos in the lead here now, will we bring ourselves back into reality on Siphon Blur? The map by Krompolc, we do see Zycos once again living up to the philosophy of first or last, but at the moment it's first. There's a very good line going through there. However, Flyer does manage to catch up just that little bit, and both players keep their gear, but Zycos a much more inside line. Both players having a very awkward approach going through there, but Zycos fully commits going through there, balls to the walls, and he does manage to come out safely at the very least, and he will take 10 points here. Cap trying to dive in with the inside line and take over, but Zycos at 102.2, a very good time there once again, but Cap being sniped, or trying to snipe at the ending but failing. 6 points for Flyer, and MiQuatro, our top points guy, falling all the way down and will actually fall out of first place here, so maybe not so comfortable in this map as MiQuatro here, but he has a good gap now to Flyer of 13 points here. But it's just a question of if he can recover from the last maps, the last round's failings there, so to speak, and if he can start getting some good performances going here. Now, round number 2 is live here with, you see, Cap once again dropping down a little bit here. Maybe again having the same issues that Carl did in the previous match, where he's just struggling to keep the same kind of pace as the other players. And MiQuatro now in 3rd place here at the moment. So Flyers off to a very good time here so far. Finds himself a 10th and a half ahead of Zycos, who himself set a really good lap in the previous one. MiQuatro's not made a mistake, however, this round, and looks to be trying to catch up here. Looks like Flyer was hesitating going over that blue section, and he didn't get the desired grip as a result. MiQuatro shoots up to 1st place from 3rd, and now Flyer's trying to recover, but we've got a 3-horse race going into this final part, and MiQuatro also slow, so it will go all the way to the wire, but MiQuatro takes it with a 102.2, also matching exactly Zycos' winning time from round number 1. Zycos does manage to hold on to 2nd despite Cap's charge there, but that was a much faster round there between all players in 2nd place there, and MiQuatro takes back his 1st place, and now within 2 rounds of finalists here. Do you think Kappa will see a finalist this map?
3 rounds remaining. I don't think so. MiQuatro would have to win. Yeah, it's possible, but these rounds are very even right now, so getting the 10 pointers is getting much harder than in the beginning of the match. Like, players don't make that many mistakes as they used to, so yeah, it's getting really hyped up.
For sure, and in this round, Flyer once again off to a very good start here. However, we saw later on it was that he was making the mistakes, and speaking of mistakes, also Cappuccino dropped out of the running so far, all the way down in 4th place here, but Zycos really going ham through that section there, does try as much as possible, to go as little distance as possible so he can catch up, but all players committing 100%, going through that tight chicane section, going through the jump. Flyer is the one with the advantage here. MiQuatro trying to take it, though he will have more speed coming into the jump. He cuts so close into there. 7 thousandths of a second between it, but MiQuatro takes it at the ending, and that is yet another 10 points, and he is within 9 points of finalist here. He's extended a lead to Zycos, as Zycos also didn't finish there. 78 points, and that also means Flyer getting a second place does get that close to safety here. And it's going to be extremely close coming into the final map, which should be the next map here, as none of the other players can get finalist here. But MiQuatro, despite starting off this map poorly, has really thrown down the gauntlet to the other players, and it looks as if they're having trouble matching him blow for blow here. Zycos, however, wants to recover the same way that MiQuatro did, with a 10-pointer. It looks as if he is in a good position to do that. However, he needs to go through the Iceman, I suppose, himself, the man from Finland, who has one of the coolest heads in the game, ironically, as well, but gets a bit of an awkward approach there, and you can see how Flyer and Zycos are going to leapfrog him, and he's certainly not going to be getting finalist this round, as he does make a big mistake there, drops all the way down to last. Cappuccino's also out there running for the top two. It's going to be Flyer and Zycos down to the line. This is essentially fighting for some top points here, and Zycos is the one to take the 10 with a 102.27 there, and Flyer has to settle with losing more ground to Zycos. Do you think Flyer's still got it in him to get himself back to safety? Because it's 15 points, Kappa. He's running out of time.
It looks like a big points difference, but it's honestly just like 2 rounds, and people may get stuck when they become the finalist, you know. And there's also 3 opponents that try to deny you, so I don't think the gap is too big, and it's still very well possible for Flyer.
But we do say that, and we do also see that he has failed the very next round here. He does fall quite far down here, and Kappa also maybe trying to risk a little bit too much, going for too much exit speed in that section. And now MiQuatro is in a golden position here. First place will mean he'll get finalist. Second place he'll mean he'll get finalist. So theoretically, he could just save here, allow Zycos the 10 points, and then just go into finalist regardless, and just keep it nice and safe, secure the finalist. But he knows that if he gets first, he denies Zycos that 10, and that means Zycos will still have to be fighting with the other players next round to get finalist himself, and keeping the pressure up on Zycos, meaning that he's dropped back a little bit here. MiQuatro moves into first place here. This will be another win for the Finn, and a 102.1, and we were talking, we didn't know if the times were going to be competitive here, but MiQuatro is definitely showing up in style here in this match, it must be said.
Yeah, and he proves me wrong, because he's now the finalist, and he's even gonna get no attempts here, but yeah, as you mentioned, we expected 0.4s, 0.3s maybe, but we were getting constantly 0.2s and now even 0.1, so there is very, very good pace from the top finishers. But yeah, we still do see a lot of mistakes, like there's 1 or 2 fast times, and the rest of the field just crashes, which is unfortunate, but we have to appreciate what we get.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we go into Weird Flex, which, I mean, at least for MiQuatro, may perhaps be the last map here, as long as, again, he keeps his head cool through the remaining sections of this match. But we do also have the potential here for a few other players to get finalists, but again, the gap has extended even further between Zycos and Flyer. Is there any point you would expect it would just get a little bit too late for Flyer and Cap? I mean, well, you were saying you do expect that Flyer still has a chance here. Do we still expect Cap will have anything to say in this match?
I honestly don't know how well prepared these guys on this track, and how confident they are, but the point difference is not too big. Like, honestly, like, when you want to deny someone else, it's 1 win, and that means 10 points, and that, like, Flyer is basically missing 2 good rounds, and he's back there. So yeah, it's still very open.
Yeah, for sure. And Eirik, looking into Weird Flex here, again, actually a really sick time there by Zycos, a 103.44, but while we might have seen that in warm-up, are those kind of times we could expect actually happening in match, or would we be misled a little bit by Zycos' warm-up?
I think that match time was really strong. But bringing up MiQuatro is in finalists here. He has played this map 6 times, and he has been 3 times first and 3 times second. So it's a good map so far in tournament for MiQuatro at least.
Again, he is on the finalist himself, so we're going to keep an eye on him. And some news in the other match I've actually just had. Nevermind actually won the other match as well, so
wow.
Another bit of a surprise coming in for us, but we'll get more information on that as we get it. We do also see Zycos dropping down. Again, the all or nothing approach not really working out in this round. Kap's also down, so all that stands between MiQuatro and the next stage is Flyer here, and Flyer lost a lot of speed and he's falling even further, and now MiQuatro moves up to first place on his first finalist attempt. Will he be able to bring it home here? Flyer is the only one who can compete with him here. The rest are nearly a second behind, but Flyer has more speed. Coming through this long right-hander, he needs to go for it. This is one more spot he can keep himself in the next stage here, and he tries to switch back on MiQuatro, gets a lot of speed. Who's going to risk the ending more? It's coming right down to the wire, and MiQuatro takes it. Flyer got very unlucky there going into the ending, as he just jumped a little bit too close, and MiQuatro takes it. He will secure himself a spot in the next stage, along with Nevermind actually from the other match. And now we have Zycos within 2 points, and also Flyer within 17 points here. But what a round to start us off with. MiQuatro takes it straight away, but we do not have time to breathe. We have a second round here. Will it decide if Zycos gets finalist here? He needs only 2 points here, so all he needs to do is finish, even if he was to get last place here. But now, of course, we do not have MiQuatro to worry about. The other players might be thinking. Now they might have more opportunities up for 10 points here, as he's been very consistent through the most of this match here, getting some top rounds. But Flyer, who was off to a very good start in the previous round, is clearly having some issues in the first, but has recovered very well here and is once again fighting for the lead, but this time with Zycos here. Cat finds himself a little bit too far behind in this round. Once again about 0.2 of a second behind, but now Flyer once again has a battle on his hands and switches back again with Zycos, but this time doesn't draw that much closer here. The Zycos looks like he has a better line here. He looks to have more speed. Flyer gets a little bit of a bump. He just goes for a little bit safe this time, but the times are still really sick going through these maps, it must be said.
Well, that was a very important 10-pointer for Zycos, even though he just had to finish. But now Flyer, after finishing second, is at 89 points, which means Zycos will get at least 2 finalist attempts alone. So that is a very good position for Zycos. And yeah, let's see if he can close it out.
We've seen Flyer looking really strong at the start sections of this map, but it seems to be just not as confident maybe in the later sections, and that's really costing him. Oh, Zycos, the massive mistake there. Just took a little bit too much speed going through that right-hander, got airtime, and that doomed him. So this is going to put Flyer in prime position here. If he gets first or second, it won't really matter in terms of his points, but also, I mean, despite Cat being quite far behind, he can still be a factor in this match. We saw Carl catching up a lot of points there in the winner bracket, so you never know. And now Flyer also has a battle in his hands, but I say that no more as Cap collides with the pole, and that's going to mean that Flyer is going to have the easiest 10 points of his life on this track. All he needs to do is just take this nice and easy through the final turn here. No mistakes, keeps the speed, and he should be good to go. Very well experienced player in his own right, and also has played some solo competitions in the past, albeit quite a time ago. But once again, setting a 0.8 is a decent match time. However, he would have known from an early stage that he would have been able to save, but he now has the slap in the face. 99 points here. Zycos has 1 more round spare. After that, he's going to have 1 finalist along with him. The pressure only gets higher. And do you think, Kappa, for a player who is all or nothing, that this is the time when it really hits the most pressure for you?
It really shows the real character of the player, how much they want it, you know. I'm excited to see how whoever takes it is the one with the strongest nerves, that's for sure. And even Cap can play a bit of a role here,
Flyers
because
down.
Yeah, Cap is an experienced player and he doesn't care too much probably, so he will take it easy and he will probably can probably deny a few rounds here.
Oh, but he needs to pick up the pace here. This might be it already. Zycos Just needs a few more turns here. He's got 1300s of a gap here between Cap, but it is all or nothing for Cap. Is there anything he can do in the final corner? He's far behind here. Zycos has the line and he falls off the edge. Zycos chokes his finalist attempt in the final corner. He had the gap over Zycos here, and Flyer DNF'd, so he has once again a finalist attempt here.
That's a disaster.
That is a disaster, but now Cap, I mean, it's not over yet. We have one more round here. Zycos threw it away at the ending here, but I mean, we were talking about it previously. It can play into your mentality having so many finalist attempts going and you fail them time and time again, and especially that one where he was inches away from getting it, just so close, no cigar, as they say. But Flyer now has what could only be described as a lifeline here that he's used up, but now he needs to win this round. Cap already at the back here, but Zycos moves up to first place and he makes a mistake. And now, well, Flyer will get finalist as long as he finishes here. This is a dream for Cap here. If he gets a win, he will put himself within one round of finalist here. And that's certainly not something we'd have thought with Cap going into this round. Flyer goes very high up onto the quarter pipe there. Cap gets a little bit of a bump there, so the odds are stacked against him, especially with that crash there. Flyer only has one turn remaining though. And he looks like he's got it clean here, nice and easy for Flyer, and that will be 10 points, and finally a finalist there for Flyer. But wow, I mean,
he must regret that DNF so much right now. He would have been the winner already, but yeah, since he was slapped in the face for 2 rounds, he's just the finalist right now, coming up to the next.
But being in this position, being in Zycos' position, Kappa, being a very experienced player in your own right, how do you recover from something like that?
Maybe it helps him that there is a new track coming up. Maybe it's one of his favorites. So the map change is the best thing that could possibly happen to Zycos. So he has to reset, but he has to reset very fast because there's 1 minute to go, and yeah, maybe get a good warm-up to boost the confidence a little bit, forget about the past and just focus on that one round. But yeah, as I said, Cap is not yet done because he can take it easier now, as I said, and he has already denied 1 round, so maybe we will see more of that.
For sure. And I mean, in terms of the other match, just to give you guys a little bit of an update, so as MiQuatro wins, he moves into the match with Novus, Carl and Soldier, who got second in the other match. And Nevermind will move in, the second place in this match, be it Zycos, Flyer or whoever, will move against Dexter, Tween and Nevermind, as both Magorian and Aegir have been eliminated from the other match. So great job there from Nevermind, recovering extremely well from his earlier loser bracket woes. And finding himself
how is that possible though? How is that possible? He lost the very first match, I think, against Dofold.
Yeah.
And now he's really destroying everyone in the loser bracket. It blows my mind.
Yeah, for sure. It just goes to show the quality of the player shining when it's needed best, though, I suppose is a good way to say it. But the question is who's the quality going to shine best through here? Who's going to have the nerves of steel going into Cascade, which I suppose at least was the most terrifying map for me, at least coming into this ending. This is where the nerves are truly going to shine through, but pardon me, Flyer is the one in the lead here, and Zycos already 1.2 seconds behind here, and having been the second person to get finals and having so many attempts here, he's going to be wishing, he's going to be praying, he's going to be hoping that Flyer throws him a lifeline just like he did for him. And Cap also needs to be the one to keep this match going further. Even if he gets first place though, Cap won't be a finalist, and Cap makes the mistake though. And another one. Flyer just needs to make it through the remainder of this track, no problem. He could even afford to do the safe finish if he wants to here. Flyer has it all in the palm of his hands here. Is he going to be able to keep it cool though? Are the nerves going to shine through for Flyer? Little bit of a slow section coming through there, but if he's had HUD on, if he's had anyone there helping him, he will know that it's safe, and he will get through the ending, no problem.
Why did he go for the risky finish though? That was so unnecessary, but yeah he managed to do it. That was risky. He
managed to get a good time there as well, a 106.6, showing that even when the stakes are the highest, Flyer can still pull out some really spectacular times there. But commiserations to Zycos, the headset's probably destroyed by now. Cappuccino with 92 points. Unfortunately, both of them are eliminated there, but MiQuatro and Flyer will move forward and stay in the tournament. And must be said, a really strong performance there by all of the players in that round. But unfortunately, when push came to shove, Zycos just threw it all away, it must be said.